Garden Express are Australia's leading mail ordering service, offering a wide range of quality gardening products. Each week on the Garden Gurus Live, the team at Garden Express will share a weekly offer. So make sure after today's show, you jump online and visit their website.
Well, good morning to you all. Hello, I'm Trevor Cochrane. Welcome to the Garden Gurus Live. Of course, this is all about answering your gardening questions. And we're very grateful to our friends at Garden Express who have always supported this. It's such a great concept. And of course, every week they come up with some great deals and offers. And the last couple of weeks, it's been a little crazy with the Melbourne International Flower and Garden Show and Easter all impacting us. And we've had some deals for you, but we've got some really good ones coming up very soon, actually. We'll catch up with Chloe and Rowan. Of course, today is all about answering your gardening questions as well. So make sure when you send your questions in, you tell us where you're from. And if it's something that is very descriptive, then send us a photograph. It's easy. Just take one with your phone, and we've got obviously a process where you can just upload that, and gives me a chance to have a look at what it is that you're talking about and describing. We've, of course, got our fantastic $50 gift voucher as well for the best question of the day. So there's a whole bunch going on there. Of course, that gives you the ability to go shopping at Garden Express 7 days a week, 24 hours a day from the comfort of your armchair. And of course, they deliver direct to your door. How good's that? Now, there are a bunch of questions flying through, which is fantastic. And there's all of our regulars seem to be with us this morning. Good morning to all of you. Keenan, Chrissy at Henry's, Christy, Kirsty, there's Fiona, there's June. All of you seem to have joined us this morning, and it's lovely to have you with us. It's great to be able to have this little chat on a Friday morning. Now, I think maybe the very first thing we should do is possibly get straight into having a chat with the team at Garden Express. I think I've got Rowan and Chloe with us this morning. I'm not sure whether it's both of you got. Yes, I have.
Hi, Trev.
The dream team.
Yeah, you got the A team today.
The A team, yeah. David will be obviously arguing that somewhere. But if he's not there, nobody can say anything about it. It's nice to see you guys. Have you recovered from MIFGS, from the Melbourne International Flower and Garden Show?
Only just.
Yeah.
To be on the back of Easter, that's for sure. So we were able to have 4 days off. But
how was it? How was it this year? I think they've come out with numbers. There was 107,000 people attended this year's event, which is simply incredible. The weather was perfect, but it was up against some pretty solid, competition with the Grand Prix as well.
Yeah, so it was great that they were able to maintain those numbers. I think it's two different audiences, though.
Yeah.
And everyone was just so lovely this year. And we had 5 days of gorgeous weather, and everyone, I think that rubbed off on people's attitudes, and everyone was just lovely. It was a really enjoyable show. And
I'm pretty sure the men go to the Grand Prix and the ladies come to MIFGS, which is a perfect mix, really.
Yeah. Well, obviously the days that we were there filming, there was a lot of men there too. So I think it's just Melbourne this time of the year. There's just something going on everywhere all the time. So there's a lot to do. So great to gravitate into the heart of the city and experience things.
And the Carlton Gardens are amazing, and once you get it all set up and all the different exhibitors and show gardens and everything there, it's just an amazing place to be.
We talked about the lavender last week, Rowan, on this show, and I think that's got to be one of the nicest stories to come out of MIFGS. Here's a plant that is one stunning. The guys from Bloomin Orange and their breeding program is really second to none. But then, to be able to take that plant and do something special with it.
Yeah, I mean, we're really proud of the fact that we've been able to do that. So we're giving $1 obviously back to Beyond Blue for every one of those lavenders sold. So it's a real honour really to be involved with that organisation. They do such great work, and
they do. And congratulations to you guys for backing it. I think we do talk about this occasionally. You are a family business. It's not, the business world's not easy. It's tough out there at the moment, and here you are giving back to the community in a very important way to a very important charity. It was an absolute pleasure to be able to do that story. So thank you guys for doing that. Tell me, this week, what are we going to talk about? What amazing plants have you got on the agenda?
There is so much to talk about, isn't there, Chloe? We have so much going on at the moment. We've just launched our Flower Fest, which is kind of like our online answer to MIFGS, so that the rest of the country and people that didn't get to the flower show get to take advantage of some of these great offers. So Flower Fest has just kicked off. We'll talk about that a little bit later, but we've also got Daphne Perfume Princess, which is an Anthony Tesla flower carpets, and you probably don't even know this, Trev, but we've been able to get our hands on some of those beautiful showpiece roses as well. So we've got some of those online as well. So yeah,
are you able to give us some special deals on each of those? We can talk to the plants specifically, but you can look after viewers.
Yeah, absolutely. So flower carpets, 100ml pots, they're normally $19.90 each. Yep. We're going to drop them right down to $14.90. So
wow,
that's an incredible bargain. The showpiece ones, now I know we're going to talk about this on the show this weekend, but those showpiece roses are absolute stunners. The fragrance that's coming out of those little flowers is just amazing. It's
and they're not little flowers, Rowan. They're actually quite. What's amazing about that plant is it really is a small bush rose producing really large flowers, quite complex flowers. They evolve through their life, so they end up being very much like a David Austin, that complex English rose style. But the perfume, that's the bit that blew me away when Anthony Tesla first told me about them and said, "Oh, you won't believe how fragrant they are." I honestly thought there was a bit of a sell going on there until I was in a shade house full of them that were in flower, and then I just went, "Whoa! It blows your head off." It's a beautiful rose.
It really does. I picked them up from Anthony Tesla's to bring them into the show so that you could do your piece on it. Yep. And I was actually stunned by the amount of fragrance that was coming out of these plants. Like it's just like a traditional red rose at that sort of fragrance. It's that strong and that beautiful. So we've got those in 100ml pots too, which is fantastic. They're regularly $20.90 new release, down to $15.90. So another great deal on those.
Yeah. That's a brand new release collection. That's a great price for this new collection of roses. For everybody who's tuned in today, these are very special roses that we're talking about because they're grown on their own roots. They're a really hardy, strong plant, and you put the fragrance in, the diversity of colours that are available in the collection, but more importantly, and even better, I think, is those flowers. The blooms are just beautiful, and because it's growing on its own roots, when they mature. So I've got a few at home in my garden that are sort of quite mature now, but they're only about, I don't know, 750 millimeters off the ground. And so you're looking over, you're seeing the flowers, you're not looking up or, having to peer into the bush. They're there right before you, and then you're getting the benefit of all that fragrance just wafting up. That's a really special collection.
I want to mention as well that they've been specifically bred for once the flower has done its thing and it's beautiful and it's spent, that it actually falls away from the plant completely. It doesn't hold on and then you've got a bush full of ugly spent flowers. They fall away really, really nicely.
Do you scratch your head sometimes and go, how on earth do they breed a plant to do all the things that make it the most ideal garden thing, right?
They definitely have. So fragrance, non-grafted, and spent flowers fall away really clean.
Absolutely brilliant. Yeah. What else have you got for us, Ryan?
So talking about fragrance, we've also got Daphne Perfume Princess, which is another one of my favourites. This one's a stunning fragrance as well, obviously. So we've got both the pink and the white version. These will be in a 140 ml pot. Normally $26.90 down to $21.50. So another great deal on another amazing Anthony Tessel plant.
And if anybody hasn't seen this particular plant, it's not any ordinary Daphne. This is something else. They're big, robust bush. The flowers. I was in love with the pink, but the flowers themselves, you can see them here. This is the pink, and you can see how diverse and the big clumps of flowers that are occurring. Yeah. And the fragrance is as good, if not better. But I'm really impressed with the white. I'll be placing an order with you guys to get some whites delivered to me because I don't have the white. Yeah. And it's a real pure, crystal white. It's lovely, isn't it?
It really is. It's a stunner. It's an absolute stunner. I think it rivals the pink personally.
Yeah.
Pink is beautiful, but the white is equally as stunning in my opinion. Yeah.
What else have you got for us? Come on, there's got to be something else there.
So the other thing that we've got on offer that we actually put on the show last week, but obviously Easter we didn't do a live, but we've got some amazing new salvias. These have come from Ball Australia, and these are incredible. We've got 3 different varieties that they've put on up for us.
Yep.
There's Mystic Spires, which is a traditional blue purple salvia. We've got Snow White, which is obviously a white one, and Blue Chill, which is more of an icy blue mauve.
It's a soft blue, yes, and it's beautiful. I think Mystic Spires might well be my favourite of all of them, but the soft blue, and you can see the white here as well.
Yeah,
they're just magnificent plants, and I've got them in my garden at home. I did a big trial. I've probably got the best part of maybe 15 to 20 different varieties that the guys from Ball Horticulture who release them into Australia sent me to trial, and you just can't beat these plants. They through the toughest, hottest days, their response to that extreme condition is to produce more flower. They don't go backwards. They retain this really lush green foliage look. They are amazing plants, and you've got 3 colours.
Yeah, and as a pollinator, obviously they attract the bees in incredibly well. That in the vision with the bees buzzing around while you're at the trials. So we've got 3 flavours. They're regularly $8.90 each. We've got them down to $6.90 individually.
Sorry, $6.90.
Yes, individually, but we've also put together a collection of all 3, and that's normally valued at $26.70 down to $19.90, as you're seeing there on the screen. What? So really, really great offer in terms of being able to put some of these beautiful new salvias in your garden.
Oh, that's a great deal. And the best way to start them is with starter plants too. Mine came in tiny little tubes, and they are great big bushes at the moment. So you
Yeah.
can see there's a lot of good deals sitting here, guys. You've been busy.
We have been busy, and then throw Flower Fest on top of that.
Show bags.
So show bags are actually sold out. They are all gone. We were actually really humbled by the result of the show bags this year.
They were great.
They were sold out of the last ones yesterday. So that's 5,500 show bags.
I think we rivaled the Birdie Beetle show bag now.
Yeah. Wow. That's fantastic. Well, obviously, you guys are going to have to go and get some more together. Maybe we can do a mid-year show bag for everybody.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Just between you and I, we're working on something for a latter episode of Gurus.
Okay, awesome. Terrific. Well, we'll make sure you tell us about it and we'll get it on.
Yeah, absolutely. So just to recap on Flower Fest real quickly, because I know you're busting out to get the questions answered for your viewers.
They're certainly building up.
All of our spring bulbs, all of our remaining spring bulbs have now been reduced. So we're talking about packets of bulbs for, from $5, which is amazing value in itself.
Yeah.
We've got fuchsias, we've got proteas, we've got orchids, we've got gerberas, we've got indoor plants, natives, hedging. All reduced. So it's a massive sale. It's probably our biggest sale of the year, I would say.
Yeah.
And we're just bringing the Melbourne Flower Show basically to everyone else.
To the rest of the country.
Fantastic.
They can get those deals as well.
Yeah.
That is truly awesome. And if Chloe, maybe if you could just sweeten the deal for everybody, if you could get Rowan in that dinosaur suit and he can pop around everybody's place afterwards, that'd be good as well.
Okay. Children's parties, hey?
Yeah.
Free bloomin for everyone.
Well, look, that's fantastic, guys. The other one that we've had so much feedback from, and it was from the primetime show, of course, is Wallamai Pines, and you are the one-stop shop for Wallamai. So there's a lot to be checking out on your website at the moment. It is gardenexpress.com.au.
Yep.
24/7.
24/7, delivered direct to your door. You can't go wrong, really, and so much choice on there right now.
Now, listen, I don't want to be the one to spoil the party, but at the moment, all these orders are coming through. You need to get out back and start packing.
We better be more.
You've got to skate on.
Hey, thanks very much. Good to see you guys. Have a great weekend.
You too. Always a pleasure, mate.
Bye. That's some fantastic deals there, folks. Don't miss out. They will be really, really good, and they will go very, very fast. Probably for me, I'm trying to pick a highlight. The roses are fantastic. The Daphne is to die for. Seriously good, and seriously hard to get hold of. That new white one, I've not been able to get my hands on it, and I've been looking around a lot. So yeah, you've definitely got to check those out. Oh, and salvias. That's absolutely that's a must-have. If you've got a hot, dry spot in the garden where nothing will grow, these salvias are perfect for that environment, and particularly putting them in now. All right. I'm not even sure where to start. There are so many questions. Please remember, tell me where you are from, because I may need some directions. I do know, by the way, I'm very conscious for most of you on the East Coast, particularly New South Wales, you are experiencing a lot of rainfall at the moment and over the weekend. There is sun on the horizon. I was chatting with Nige from the Gurus this morning, and he was saying he's enjoying it. He thinks it's really good, but just take care and let that water soak into the garden, because it'll do it the world of good. All right, so Peter Ward Tully, I'm not sure where you're from. You have problems with wasps at the moment, and and you're seeing these guys that they're just coming around all the time. You're getting stung, and that can be very uncomfortable. Now, it depends again where you are, because on the East Coast, European wasps are predominant, and on the West Coast, paper wasps tend to be the thing that caused the biggest problem. Paper wasps tend to be in bushes, in the air, whereas European wasps often will nest in the ground. So that's probably the most obvious thing. If you're seeing them at ground level, that's what you've got a problem with. Controlling it is an insecticide. In fact, if it's paper wasps, it's literally just fly spray. And you will be able to take them out. But you've got to make sure that when you spray them, you've killed the wasps. you've got to take the nest out. So you've got to look in there and see where it is. It'll be hanging in there because it'll have babies inside that, and they will survive, they will hatch and come out. And of course, you've got the same problem occurring again. So wasp control 101, hopefully that helps. Fiona Cassar, hello, you're in Melbourne. That's great, thanks for letting me know. I need help with my lily pilly. Little green bugs, like a ladybug, are eating all the leaves and stunning the growth. Sprayed with Eco Neem 3 times. Right, there is a product from Yates. It's called Yates Advanced. It is very, very effective in controlling these, what are bugs. They are a little beetle. And it could be one of 2 or 3. So they're little shield, what we call shield beetles or bugs, and they will eat the outside edge of the leaf, and you do want to get control of them. That is the trick. Yates Advanced. Now it's a contact spray, so you have to spray over the top and underneath. It comes in a trigger pack, so it's easy enough to do that and to get in amongst your plant. So just make sure you're getting control. Yeah, hopefully that helps, Fiona. Sandy Jewell, hello in Brisbane. Sandy, this is a good one. We potted up our strawberries at the community garden a few days ago, semi-buried the pots in the raised bed to control weeds. Even with watering, they're looking very wilted. Will they send out new shoots? Yes, they should absolutely send out new shoots, but you do have to keep the water up to them, particularly if you've been breaking them up and splitting them and setting them in. The root shock is a lot. Of course, I always tell people this, but sea salt, seaweed extract, is an incredibly effective way to reduce shock for any plants that go through any kind of new planting process or division process. In this case, it will do them the world of good, and they should bounce back. And within a short period of time, you'll actually see them putting out some runners with some new babies appearing as well. So now is the time to be splitting up your strawberries and planting over the next month or so. Chrissy at Henry's, hello. You're moving from Perth to Launceston. Wow, fantastic. And you're leaving all your plants and garden behind. That's not fantastic, Chrissy. Hopefully you'll stay with us. What's the difference in garden, and will it be so different? The answer is yes, it'll be totally different. High humidity, better rainfall, more consistently distributed rainfall. For all our friends in Tassie, I'm sure you're going to talk this through. You do have your dry periods of time, but more often than not, you can actually get away with a sprinkler, not necessarily a full-blown irrigation system. However, the climate's very different climates, so the plants that you grow or you can grow are quite different, and there's a lot to look forward to. And of course, it is a beautiful part of the world. So please don't leave us though, because you've been such a great contributor over the years now. Thank you. Christy Leishan, hello Christy. You've not told me where you are, but let's work our way through this problem. I've got a lime tree. There's something leaving shiny tracks in the leaves, causing the leaf to curl. Yes, I think I can help you with this, because this is what we call citrus leaf miner. And we talk about it almost every week now because it's quite active this time of the year. So you'll see this twisting and gnarling. Those little tracks that you're seeing is the larvae that's eating through the developing buds and growth. And that's very problematic. It will cause a lot of deformity on the tree. The best thing you can do is go through and nip off all that damaged growth, just very lightly trimming the plant itself. But what I would say to you is the control is when they start producing more fresh growth, you need to spray that growth for probably a couple of weeks every second day or so with white oil or pest oil or eco oil, one of the oils. And the reason is it's a moth that lays the egg under the epidermal layer, the skin of the leaf. And then that egg hatches, and of course the little grub eats its way through, and that's what's causing the problem. When moths when you look at them under a microscope, they have hairs all over their legs. In fact, that's kind of how they feel things. They can actually sense things through that. So when they land on something that's sticky and oily, they hate it. They fly away. And that's good news for your plant. And what happens is after a couple of weeks, if you've done this for a couple of weeks, one is the growth hardens up, but two, and most importantly, is that you're in a position where where I suppose the moth itself, the breeding cycle changes, and the citrus leaf miner won't come back. You'll find that they'll stay away for long periods of time. So it's an interesting one. You're not killing them as such. You're just making sure that they don't land and lay their eggs on the foliage of your plants. Now, Let's keep working our way through. Wollongong. Hello, Fiona Graham. How are you? Is it possible for tulips and crocus to naturalise in Wollongong? Now, that is a good question. Is it possible to grow snowdrops there? Absolutely, definitely possible to grow snowdrops. Would they naturalise? I don't know. I'm not quite sure how cold you get during winter, but it's a very important part of the process. And most of the bulbs that you will see, and certainly Garden Express, the varieties that are, things like tulips and so on, they'll be sourcing from growers in Tasmania because the conditions are colder for longer, and that's the perfect environment for tulips to grow. So, yeah. Now, my next question comes from Shelley Pasquill. She's in Croydon in Victoria, and she's on a fact-finding mission. Recently got a quote from a landscaping company to excavate an area and help do a paving and garden area. Cut a long story short, they quoted me $19,400 for this job. I don't think it should cost that much, but as I'm new to being a homeowner and literally know very little about gardening, flying blind, is there a way I can assist you to know what's right? Here's what I would be doing, and it's a rule of thumb always, Shelley. I would get 3 quotes. I would find 3 people on either end of the yellow pages, or if you've Googled on the list of Googled companies, I would ask them to all come in. And when you do that, you need them to actually specify exactly what it is that they are going to do. So you get a full list of what that quote looks like, just so you can compare it and make sure that it's apples for apples. The best way to do it is to do that. If you are unsure, you can always contact the Landscape Association of Victoria as well. And often they'll just let you know roughly what the square meterage might look like. So yes, hopefully that helps. It's a lot of money, $19,400. Janet Ryan, hello, you're in Brizzy. Have a 2-foot high shale area that needs plants that'll survive on it. Shale area, interesting. Would bromeliads be suitable with coir or sphagnum moss behind them? I reckon it's a shade area, 2-foot high shade area. I reckon that's what it is. The answer is absolutely. Bromeliads would do incredibly well. Of course, there's this massive diversity of bromeliads that you can get all different colours and shapes and sizes. Yeah, they're a fantastic plant. I absolutely love them, and we've got a couple of mates who are tuned in today who are big fans of bromeliads. Troy is definitely one of them, and I'm sure that he'd be recommending you go down that line as well. But certainly bromeliads, epiphytic ferns, they're terrific. That's things like staghorns and elks. They'd all do well in that environment as well. So yeah, good question. Thank you. Leanne Andretta, hello. I'm in the southwest. In the southwest of where, Leanne? I'm not quite sure, but you want to move some natives. Do you have any tips, please? Very, very difficult to transplant native plants. They do not like root disturbance at all. If you really have to do it, soaking the ground with sea salt first, cutting about a week before you lift the plants, maybe 2/3 of the area around the outside that you're going to dig, and most importantly, when you actually do dig them out, retaining all the original soil that the roots were growing through is very important. So getting yourself a tarpaulin and popping it underneath will really make a big difference. Leanne, thank you very much. You said you're in the southwest of Western Australia. Certainly wait for the wetter conditions, because it is dry over here in the west. We are experiencing, I'm 6 months without any rain pretty much in my garden, and my creek that flows all year round is at a tiny little dribble. The pond is evaporated just about, and we're desperate for rain. So wait until the soil is really moist, Leanne, before you make any moves. Hopefully that helps. Okay, let's have a bit of a keep move through. In southeast Queensland, Sue Hall. Hi, Sue. I've got a beautiful snail vine growing and flowering. Not sure if I need to prune it or it's getting a bit lanky. Yeah, give it a prune. Won't hurt. My snail creeper, I should have brought some flowers in. It is just sensational. It is one of my favourite plants, and it's in a huge big pot with a trellis in it. It stands, well, it's as tall as me, so about 5'2". No, I'm taller than that. It's about 6 foot or so, and it is magnificent. It is just beautiful at the moment, covered in flowers, so I know exactly what you're talking about. And one of the great things about the snail creeper, of course, is that it is perfumed. It is just gorgeous. Mine's the big double one. You might actually have a small one. I'm getting the little reminder from Shaylee to talk about plant of the week, and I think that this is probably the perfect time. So I'll just show you what my plant of the week is and something else that I'm doing. These, of course, are magnolias. This particular one is Little Gem, and I was in love with it, and I kind of fell out of love with it, and I'm back in love with it because I've been just a tad brutal with my magnolias in recent times, and in cutting them back, particularly the Little Gem, the density of new foliage and then the mass of flowers that are produced is exceptional. And this particular flower is quite interesting. It's quite a spicy fragrance. It's not the traditional magnolia flower. It's a little bit different. But yeah, you can see it there. I love it. This is one of the ultimate hardy plants and a brilliant screener. So when it comes to screening off areas, it's quite upright, very easy to care for. As long as it has a decent water supply, this is a sensational plant. That's my plant of the week, and I'm giving the flowers to Shaylee. I did want to show you this too. This is something that I'm doing at the moment. I am stealing these things all the time. Wherever I see a foxtail palm, at the base of them at the moment, right across Australia, there'll be this red fruit that's fallen off the plant. And then that's the seed inside the fruit. And I'm collecting them because I want to grow a little mini forest of them at the back of my swimming pool. They are so good. They are absolutely fantastic. So there's my two, I suppose, plants of the week. And then the seed itself, I collected from the car park at Trevor. I ducked around to see the guys about a week ago, and was getting some Trevor from the factory, and doing a bit of a story. But this is the flowering Trevor for roses, azaleas, and camellias, and it's a really good one to be applying at the moment because one is your roses need one more feed just before they go into dormancy in June. Two, azaleas and camellias are coming into their peak growth period and flower period. And then the third thing that I wanted to mention about this Trevor is the fact that a lot of you have been saying, we just can't get our hands on it. It's just not available. There's not a garden centre near me that's stocking it because it's only independent garden centres that carry that Trevor product. I just love it because it's got the microbes in it and the complex mineral base. But I've got some good news for you. If you go into your local Bunnings store, you're going to see this stuff, Power Feed. And if you have a close look, and you have to, unfortunately, because it's not very big on the label, it says with Trevor technology. They have gone, used a little bit of the Power Feed product in a granulated formulation with microbes, which is absolutely brilliant. So they're using that same Trevor technology. The great thing about this is it is available in Bunnings stores right around Australia. Of course, there's 200 of them plus. And so there'll be one near you, and it does make it a little bit easier. If you want to give this stuff a try, it is quite remarkable. Microbes and minerals, and the results are truly incredible. They really are something else. So hopefully that's my little wrap on things that maybe you should be thinking about doing this weekend. We're getting quite a few questions through, and some of them are quite descriptive. I just wanted to point out to you that you do need to send us photographs. If there's something that you want to talk about, in particular, to get some feedback on, and it requires me to have a good look at it, a photograph is key. And we've got a little video here for you on how to send the photographs through. Have you got a gardening question you'd like us to answer and you need to send us a photo? Well, simply head to our Facebook page and click on message. Type out your question and click the camera icon to take a photo in the app. Or click the image option and select the image you want to send us. Be sure to allow Facebook access to your camera and camera roll. We check our messages regularly, so sit back and be sure to tune in to the Garden Gurus Facebook Live show every Friday, and you'll hear your answer. So send me your photos. Get out there, take some photographs. Of course, we're going to do this every Friday for the next few weeks. I'm actually going to be away next week, and we've got a special guest presenter coming in who is one of my favourite plantsmen, if that's the right way to put it. He's a real plant collector, and his knowledge is amazing. We'll tell you more about that next week. Let's keep rolling. Lorraine K. Pasami, I hope I got that. It's Amani, I think. Lovely to have you with us, Lorraine. I think this is your first question, which is fantastic. I was watching one of your shows on fig trees, and they used a long-handled fruit picker. I know the one that you're talking about. Wondering where I can buy this in Perth, please. Okay, it's a Wolf Garden product. It's a fruit picker. It's got a net on it, and then it's got these ribs around the top of it. And one of them, actually, what you do is you pick it up and you pull the rib between the fruit and the stem that connects it to the tree, and there's a little cutter in there, and it cuts it so it just falls neatly into the basket. So the great thing about these extendable pickers, of course, is that you don't have to climb a ladder. That's the downside to fruit trees, and most serious injuries in gardens occur with people falling off ladders. So let's not do that. Let's use these beautiful long handle pickers. So they're from a company called Wolf Garden. I'm not sure if they're sold in Bunnings stores, that particular picker. I'm not 100% certain, but it'd be worthwhile jumping online. In fact, Shay might be able to find their website for us. We'll pop it up for you just so you can actually have a look. But it's a wonderful tool, and it's an essential tool in my garden. I use it all the time, and it's a very important thing. Right at the moment, we've got avocados everywhere, and I'm actually using that to pick the avocados, and it just means that you're not climbing up ladders on uneven soil. It just is such a safe way to go, and the extension is, gee, it must be 4 meters or so. So it's a really handy tool. Lorraine, keep your eye out for that. They may sell them in Bunnings, I'm not sure. But the Wolf Garden one, I think it's got a lifetime warranty on it as well. It's a beautifully made tool. It's lightweight, incredibly well thought through and designed. It's obviously a German company that makes them, and that German engineering and design work is pretty much second to none. They tend to lead the world when it comes to that sort of stuff. Hopefully that helps, Lorraine. Mary Rabahi, hello Mary, how are you going? I'm not sure where you are from, but hi there. I went to the garden show. I saw a new fertilizer, to me, BioLink Bullet, BioLink for plants. I've got no idea what that is. I'm currently using Treforte. Do you have any thoughts on the product? Well, I've never heard of the product before, and I would love to do some research. I think the company itself, from their website, they're a family-owned company, and I suspect that they may well be based just in Victoria. Could be wrong, don't know. But look, they are certainly thinking down the same way that Treforte does, trying to stimulate soil microbes. They're trying to help farm owners and pet owners and gardeners. But until it's proven, and trials are the best way to do it, I would suggest you stick with Treforte, because you know that's going to work, and it does an amazing job. So hopefully that is the best bit of advice I can give you, Mary. But yeah, I'll do a bit of research for you. We'll see if we can find this company and maybe do a little bit of trial work on their product. I like to do it at home because I can really watch it and I can monitor it. I take photographs, then do comparisons a few weeks later, and yeah, in a very short period of time, you really do get a feel for how it's going. There is a lot of work being done in this space, though. I'm so happy to see so many companies now talking about feeding the soil in preference to fast hits of feeding plants. It's really changed everything, and it's so good for soil health, and that's so good for fertility. Right, I'm watching all your questions coming through, so I'm very conscious that we've got 20 minutes to go, and I need to answer as many as I can. Kerry Eady, you're in Newcastle. Frangipani didn't flower this year, and it's got rust. Is there anything for that? Yes, there is a few sprays actually for rust, and Frangipanis do need it. But you are almost at the end of the season, Newcastle. You probably, yeah, look, you know what? I'd spray it. I think I'd get a spray. You want a high pressure spray, basically something that you can mix into a container, concentrate, and literally high pressure spray under the foliage. You want it covered with that fungicide. What is the fungicide? There's a couple of different ones. I would suggest that you probably pop into your local garden centre first and talk to them about it, because they'll probably tell you what's more effective in your area. It's amazing. Some are more effective in different climates than others. Di Keo, hello Di. I'm not sure where you're from. You've sent us some photos. This is fantastic. Let's have a look. What have we got here? All right. Can you ID this plant for me? I think it's a weed, but I've really got no idea. It's thriving in my yard. I'm trying to see what that is. It's warrigal spinach. Yeah, it's warrigal spinach. It's actually, well, it can kind of grow like a weed. And a weed is a plant that you don't want there, but it's an edible plant, and it's absolutely delicious. You pick the new shoots, and the trick with this is some people grow it and then go, oh, it's bitter. The trick is you pick all the new shoots, so just little growth tips off, and you bring it in and you pop it in a pot of water, and you just leave it in the water, ideally for half an hour, maybe an hour before you use it. And then you can steam it just like spinach. It's rich in minerals and vitamins. It's absolutely fantastic. So warrigal spinach is the plant. Di, hopefully that helps. Good. It's a good ground cover. June LaFrance. Hello, June. It's nice to have you back with us. Vincentia in New South Wales. I inadvertently spraying with white oil in the sun. After inadvertently spraying with white oil in the sun. Thanks for your advice. My magnolia is now looking fantastic. Oh, that's good news. Yeah, do not spray white oil in conditions over probably 28 degrees. Any of the oils, it actually magnifies the sun and it causes burning. But don't be scared to prune them, I suppose is my message today, because the more you prune them, the thicker, lusher, more healthy and hardy they look, and even better than that, the more flowers they produce. Kayleen Harding, hello, you're in Brisbane, or you're about an hour from Brisbane actually. Got rhubarb flowering in an old bathtub in my veggie patch. It's a crimson variety, but the stalks never grow red. They're always green, not sure why. This is the second year it's been in. Is there something I need to fertilise it with to help change that? No, there is not. Some rhubarb doesn't go red. It does stay quite green. It will be a little bit of red in it, but sometimes that can change as the plant ages. There's not really anything you can stick in the soil that's going to make it go red. What will happen, I think, is that as it matures, you'll find more and more red stems. But yeah, it's the beauty of nature. We're all a little bit different, aren't we? Tracy Slade, you're in Rockhampton. We're getting a lot of Queensland messages. Actually, you're all coming in from all over the country, which is fantastic. Tracy Slade, how can I get rid of itchy grubs in my yard? The last 2 years, I cannot grow anything or cannot mow without getting covered in welts during the summer and into the autumn. I have no idea what you are referring to. Itchy grubs. I think we're talking, I could be wrong, but I think we're talking about the shelter moth. If I'm, yeah, okay. We are. Often you'll see these things, what they'll do is they form big groups. They'll either get in lines or they'll all come together, and they're a caterpillar, and it's a native insect. But I can't believe that that there's that many that you cannot mow your lawn without getting covered in welts. It's crazy. If you want to try and get rid of those sorts of things, of course, there are some natural treatments. And the simple one is something like talcum powder. And I know it sounds like a really weird thing, but boundaries around the outside of lawns, for example, if you want to keep them into the garden beds or into trees where they should be, talcum powder around the outside, they hate crossing over talcum powder. It's so fine, it gets stuck in their crevices in between their legs and everything else, and they'll turn around and they'll actually go in the other direction. So that might help a little bit. Pearl McGilvray from South Penrith, New South Wales, thank you so much for sending us some photos. And I really appreciate that. Thank you. You said you love watching the show. Love some advice on the best way to get rid of calla lilies. They've taken over your garden. We've got native trees and plants, and would need to be careful that we don't kill these. What a problem. There's so many people that would be very, very happy with them. Oh, actually, you don't have calla lilies. These are arum lilies. These are different again, and they're actually a declared pest. So they are difficult to get rid of. The trick right at this moment in time is to cut them at ground level And I know it's a dirty word, but Roundup is going to, if you cut them and paint them with Roundup at a diluted rate, you will get rid of them. You'll still have them pop up again next season. Not many of them, maybe 10% of them, and you'll need to do the same thing again. And after that, they'll go. But that is a declared pest, and its capability of moving along the edge of waterways and into gardens and into natural bushland is phenomenal. So it's something you should look at getting rid of. Rami Eltony, hello. What is the best fertilizer for mature lime trees, 15 to 20-year-old trees? I'm going to tell you something. There's a fruit version of this stuff. It's called Troforte, and it is brilliant. I use it on bananas, and I shouldn't be getting the crops that I get. And I just remembered I forgot to bring. I was going to bring a huge bunch of bananas in for all the team here in the office because I've got so many I don't know what to do with them. That's annoying. But that brings them into flower and fruit in a year when normally it would take 2 years in my climate and environment. So it just shows how good this fertilizer is. And it was a revelation to me when I first started using it, just how well it works. Rami, that was for you, Rami. And Sue Hall, where can I buy Troforte liquid in Southeast Queensland? Independent Garden Centres is going to be your first stop. Go to the Troforte website, have a look, because I think they do list all of their retailers. And I don't know, you said you can get the pellets, but cannot find the liquid. Wherever you're getting the pellets from, just ask them to get the liquid in. They're placing the order. It's the same company. They could deliver one bottle if it's just for you. It's not a difficult thing, but the liquid is actually a really good thing to use in combination. Saji Kure, you are in Sydney. Why are leucadendron plants dying? Probably, it's usually one of two things. It's too much water, so not enough drainage coming through. Or alternatively, sometimes it can be the reverse, and it can be quite problematic. But if you're actually drying out, if you're too dry, too sandy, they don't like that either. They are, a South African native plant, and they do require water to make sure that they grow. But there is one other possibility, and that is that they are susceptible, usually to a number of root-based diseases. Some of them are caused because you're using high phosphorus-based fertilizers. So you should always be using native plant fertilizers. That could cause them to deteriorate. Now, so they're also susceptible to Phytophthora diseases, which is the root rots. So, it's going to be one of those, and only you will know, Saji, because you'll know if it's too wet, you'll know if it's been too dry, and if it's just suddenly like they're just deteriorating, or you've been using the wrong fertilizer and they're deteriorating, you'll know that it's this root damage. But whatever it is, the bad news is they probably need to be ripped out. So sorry for the bad news. Hello, Annie Michelatis. I hope I got it right, Annie. How are you? Speaking of magnolias, I have a couple that haven't flowered for years. They're in part shade. I've given them regular fertilizer. Can you tell me what food or conditions I need for them? So don't feed them is the first bit of advice I'll give you. Now, iron is a really good trigger for magnolias to flower, but it's best applied with an axe. So if you lean the axe up against the side of the magnolia, you'll be surprised how quickly they start to flower. And it's all got to do with that iron, I think. That was a little bit tongue-in-cheek, but no, they don't need fertilizer. They need a little bit of tough love is the key. Back the water off them just a little bit. The reason they're not flowering is they don't need to reproduce because they're growing happily. Conditions are perfect for growth, and that's what they'll be putting their effort into. So just a little bit more tough love. Courtney Detman, you're in Melbourne. We are going all over the country. Courtney, they asked a question last live show about scarring on native jasmine. They tried copper spray, white oil, and neem. Sorry, it's a bower vine. Okay, this is great. It's on a south-facing wall. Some branches have now died and turned black. Now, we've got some photos here, so let's have a look. Oh, yeah, you're continuing to get this damage, which looks like it's a physical damage. So it's some kind of beetle, and it would not surprise me that you've got you've got one of the beetles, and now I think about it, it's probably not the one that I'm thinking of here, but the one that's most common to cause that kind of damage is called a cockchafer. And cockchafers are really, they do a lot of damage, and they do that kind of damage. I would suggest, and you'll find them, usually they're active in the early morning or often at night. So what I would suggest that you think about is possibly this idea of this Yates Advanced spray, but do it at about 6:30 in the evening. And then I would come and have a bit of a look and see what you've got on the ground around the outside the next morning, because my gut feel is that is beetle damage. Now that I've seen those photos are a lot better than the earlier ones. It really does tell more of a story. So, and they when they find nice soft stems, they do a lot of damage. I think that's what it is. Romy Eltony, have you seen an Addissonia grandidii? That is the Madagascan boa. They are absolutely beautiful. And have I seen them growing in Perth? No, but you've got one in your backyard. How about taking a photo and sharing it with us? That sounds amazing. The Madagascan baobab trees are just spectacular. They are, I've only ever seen photographs. I've never been to Madagascar personally, but it's high on my list of experiences just to see them, because they are absolutely gorgeous. And of course, they're related to the Australian baobab, which is really interesting because there's a lot of ocean between the two, which suggests at some point they must have been together for the plants to have evolved to distinctive species. They are quite different, but both have that incredible ability to grow very well in hot, dry conditions by retaining the moisture in their trunk. Really cool. Tracy Wallace, you are in Perth too. We've got, I think, a couple in Perth, which is great. Hi, thanks for live. I'd like to know what to do as I'm pulling all my native shrubs and trees out of my front garden as they've struggled this summer here in Perth. Decided to put in a dry riverbed. Pretty cool. But I really need some good ideas. Would you have any, or would you know where I can find some, please? Thanks so much. Oh, and lastly, will they all be okay in just pots with dirt that they were in? Absolutely. Definitely. If you're taking them out and you're trying to get them to grow in pots, use the original soil that they were growing in. You bought that Fertilawn. Okay, great. You used it to dethatch the front cooch. $80 for 2 buckets, hoping it'll work. 2 buckets will go a long, long way. You must have a massive lawn if that's the case, because it's quite an investment, but it should do. What it's doing too, by the way, is that Fertilawn, it's got bacteria in it, and the bacteria eats the thatch and turns it into fertilizer for the lawn. But because as it's eating it, it dethatches the lawn without you having to mechanically do it. It's generally successful. I'm going to say that. You also mentioned your retics died, which is no good. As far as the idea about the landscaping goes, there's some great landscape books out there with regards to creating a dry riverbed. My personal sort of suggestion would be that you do take note of Mother Nature at her very best and take a look at what goes into that kind of landscape, how it looks, because what you want to do is replicate that natural setting. There's a few things mechanically you'll have to do. If you're in sandy soil, you have to make sure you've got some sheeting underneath the soil so the stone doesn't just weigh itself into the sand and disappear. And once you've kind of done that, you can put soil over the top, put stone on top, and people will never know, and it should look quite authentic. You're still going to need some native plants. It's disturbing that native plants have been struggling in your garden in Perth, and it's a reflection of just how extreme the conditions have been. I opened West Australian Tree Week last week for WOLGA, which is the West Australian local government organisation, and did it alongside my good friend Sue McDougall, who you will know from the Garden Gurus in the past. She's now director of the Kings Park and Botanic Gardens. And Sue was telling me that what we're trying to do in Perth, we've got the worst shade canopy of any city in the country at the moment, and we've got some diseases that are taking out or pests that are taking out some very big trees. So we're going to lose canopy. We need to be planting a whole bunch of trial research at the moment on native trees. And at the end of this, she said in 30 years' time, the trees that will be planted are the ones that they're doing research on now. So the majority of trees, she said, these are so good, they will do incredible things for the landscape. So there is hope on the horizon We just have to think about it. Jeannie Napier. Hello, Jeannie. You're in Beachboro. We're back in WA again. Is it time to trim our mango tree? It's only time to trim your mango tree after you've picked the fruit, Jeannie. That's the key. Don't do it during winter. If you're going to do it and you've picked the fruit, then do it now. Jeanette Fenton, hello. You're in Glenorchy in Victoria. That's Western Victoria. Got a paddock roughly the size of a house block. I'm going to plant it out with delicious fruit trees and beautiful daffodils. Awesome. I've got a fig and an apricot already in. My question is, how often and how long should I water the daffodil bulbs? And should I put something under them to stop them going in too deep? No, definitely don't put something under them. They will naturally, in where you live, they should naturally, literally naturalize in the environment. So you should be fine. That's exciting. That's pretty cool. Leah Verrill, hello. You're in Brisbane. Are branches on grevilleas normally black? No, they're not. And usually, if you're seeing them black, that's something called sooty mold. Now, sooty mold by itself doesn't actually damage your plant unless it's really covering everything. But what it is, it's a sign that your grevilleas have got scale, and ants are farming them, and the sooty mold is growing off the sugary substance that the ants are accidentally leaving as they're moving around the plant. If it's in a real extreme environment, it'll start to cover the leaves, and that affects photosynthesis. So it affects the plant's ability to create energy, and then you'll see the grevilleas go backwards. Of course, if you've got lots of scale, they're sucking goodness out of the grevillea as well. So the real trick here is to spray the scale and to stop the ants from going into the grevilleas. And I mentioned that little trick with talcum powder earlier on. That's the best way to get ants to move on, is talcum powder. So yeah, and you'll see, everybody should be seeing a lot of ant activity at the moment, because as we move into the wetter part of the year for the majority of the country, ants will start coming closer to the house, getting into paving, getting into anything that's going to provide them protection, because they can sense what is coming. And that should be, hopefully, for most of us, and particularly for us here in the West, some decent rainfall. Yeah, so Leah, I hope that helps you. Jodie Wilson, hello, you're in New Mexico and New South Wales. What is the lawn grass you'd recommend for an area that has lots of tree coverage now, so it needs to grow in a shaded area? So under normal circumstances, I would tell you that sometimes it's just really hard to grow things under shaded areas. I've got a couple of shaded areas that just too densely shaded, grass won't grow there. I've put dichondra in, I've put the ground cover peppermint in. They tend to do okay in that sort of environment. It's just one of those things. If it's too shady, lawn won't grow. There are a couple of types of the buffalo. The palmetto buffalo is probably the most shade tolerant, I would think, of all of them. It grows pretty well, but it will be quite sparse in that environment, and you have to cut high, don't cut low with your mower. So hopefully that little brain dump helps you out. Catherine Rivette, staying in New South Wales, you're in Bathurst. Wondering if you're able to tell me what the white hydrangea is in the garden behind Trevor as he demonstrates the terrariums at Melbourne Flower Show. Here, you've got a good memory. That particular one is a variety from Fleming's, and I've got to remember the name of it, but it's actually a very distinctive, very beautiful pendiculatum form, I think is the correct description of it. But I can't think of its exact name. Flemings.com.au. Go and check out that website. It'll be on there. It's worthwhile checking out. Flemings are a great Australian family company. And Shaylee's helped me. Oh, actually, if you scroll down a little bit further, it is a paniculata variety. It's called Kyushu. So it's one of the Japanese forms, and it's Kyushu is the variety that was at MIFGS at the Melbourne International Flower and Garden Show. In the backdrop, when I did my little bit clumsy terrarium demonstration for the guys at Scott's, I did my best, but I'm maybe not quite as talented as some other people when it comes to creating terrariums. Rami, back in Perth, what's a good idea? Oh, would it be a good idea to use eucalyptus rudis, the flood gum, as a privacy screen against a fence line? Yeah, sure, just don't have it too close to the fence. It's still a decent sized tree. So, and they do take some time to grow, but certainly, give it the space, keep it off the fence, and yeah, it'll give you a bit of privacy. It's not a bad sized tree to go in. Sue Hall, I messaged my husband to get me an axe for the magnolia tree to make a flower. He said it's a joke. I argued a bit and explained the axe leaning against the plant, and then of course I got the joke. I'm glad you got my joke. Thanks, Sue. I've got a terrible sense of humour, I know, but it does sometimes, yeah, it does work. I think if I had an axe leaning up against me, I would flower as well. Gail Bemrose, hello Gail, you're in the central coast of New South Wales. I love growing kidney weed as a living mulch. Good one to go. I'm wondering, kidney weed, dichondra, it's a great ground cover, particularly for shaded spots. Wanting to know if this is a good idea when it's growing in and around all my other plants. So yes, a living green mulch, it is fantastic. And you can have it around plants, and the root system is not going to be competitive. So go for it, Gail. It's a good idea. It's a really, really good, question. Now, Rami's asked, I think this is like Rami's 5th question. You are really engaged, Rami. Thank you. What's the best nursery in Perth? How can I give you that? It depends what you're looking for. There's some great nurseries right across Perth. There's some great nurseries across the country. But I don't really have a favourite. I actually love going to visit lots of different ones because they all do it differently. Thank you, everybody. It's been a bit of a whirlwind today. It's 10:01 over here in the west, and I think it is. I'm not sure whether we've changed times on the east coast back to standard times yet. But yes, it's lunchtime, I'm sure, over there. This week's lucky winner of the $50 gift voucher from Garden Express is, drumroll, and I think it is Sandy Jewell from Brisbane. This is that community garden, potting up strawberries. How do you help them from the transplant shock point of view? Definitely Seasol is the goal there. So you got $50 to go shopping at Garden Express. It's, as I said, they're open 24/7. You can do it from the comfort of your armchair, and they will deliver whatever it is you order, which could be strawberries, because I think they're on the list of things at the moment. They'll deliver them direct to your door. How good's that? Thank you so much for joining us, and thanks so much for your support. Garden Gurus TV show has been on Channel 9 now for 22 years. It is crazy. I cannot believe that we have been going for so long, but we've still got so many stories to tell, and we are only midway through our season at the moment on Channel 9. So you'll see the show this Saturday at 4:30, on Channel 9 right across the country, and it's a chance to get some really down-to-earth garden advice. Plus, there's a lot of new things that we've been introducing each week. Nev's been sharing a lot of garden hacks too, things that you can do that just enhance your garden results, make it a little bit easier doing it along the way. There's a lot of years of experience there with Neville, and it always surprises me the things he comes up with. There's a couple of rippers this week, so make sure you catch the show. Next week, we'll be back with another live show. We'll reveal during the week. Shaylee will be posting who our special guest presenter is. We just haven't told him yet, so we'll let him know, and he can come and spend a bit of time with you over the next couple of weeks, because I'm going to be in Egypt, taking a little bit of time off. It's been a very busy start to the year, and I have an opportunity to go over there with my lovely wife. So we're going to go and explore that, and have a bit of fun. I think what we should do, maybe before we actually sign off completely, is say, 1, thank you for joining us. 2, remember, we've got the website. You can get fact sheets and any information you like. It's a great resource. You can check out our YouTube channel, and of course you can always ask questions here on Facebook. We love that, and we love your support, and we're really appreciative, and we're appreciative of the guys at Garden Express. Thank you so much. But how about we play this very cool ad that's become the most popular video we have on our website at the moment, and it's the masterful work of young Shaylee, who has been producing again today and does an amazing job for us. So let's have a look at this cool little advert. Well done, Shaylee.
Meet Jimmy, the world's most dedicated plant parent. Jimmy tries his best when it comes to plants, but there are a few things he is yet to learn. Oh, Jimmy. Perhaps it's time to get some advice from the professionals. Join us every Friday for the Garden Gurus Live. We delve into all things green, offer valuable advice, and even treat you to exciting giveaways. It's a vibrant community where we all share, learn, and grow. Join us on Facebook or YouTube for the Garden Gurus Live.
I've just got another one come in. This is Jimmy from Subiaco. Oh my goodness. He sent us a photo. And yes, Jimmy, I'm afraid you have killed this with kindness. Maybe dial it down a little next time.
Our community and your plants can't wait to see you there.
Isn't that a great little video? So good. And that was all the creative talent of young Shaylee. She's done a great job, and she's done a great job today. So I hope you enjoyed that. Thanks so much for joining us. I look forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks when I am back. But in the meantime, we will be doing the show each week. And yeah, thanks so much for joining us. Have a great weekend.